Welcome to 30 Minute Reviews Oscar Week. I am Adam. Today is Thursday, which means that we're going to be discussing A Star is Born. Probably one of my personal favorite movies of the year that I saw in 2018. I think I had it pretty high up in my rankings. I don't remember. I don't have the paper anymore. That had my rankings from the year in review episode of Beware of Spoilers, but I feel like it was definitely up there. And it was in the top two. I think I kept going back and forth between 8th grade and this movie, A Star is Born. So, we have, let's do it. What's there to talk about with this movie? I think it's not going to win Best Picture. It's probably not going to, if only because, I think that the movie is not quite hitting, there are movies this year. The problem is, if this movie came out in a vacuum, it probably would be the best movie of the year, but then we have other movies that came out, like The Favorite, which is substantially better, and we have things like that. But one of the things I really want to address with this movie is how it makes the characters seem human, when a lot of times and again, you can tell that I haven't written notes down. I probably should start writing notes down, but the characters are human, and a lot of times when relationships are written and relationships are directed and relationships are portrayed on screen, they tend to act as if it's a they act like it's a movie, and small things that get built up are what's the word I'm looking for? Issues linger longer than they should, is the point I'm trying to make. Where it's like, where two people in the situation where it's like, toward the end of the movie when he's severely into drugs and alcohol toward the end of the movie, and he's going into rehab and stuff like that. He has his meltdown at the Grammys, and everyone around him kind of acts like they would in a situation like that when it's someone they love. It's not it's not a superficial relationship where it's like they're going to abandon him or anything like that. I know that this comes down to a fundamental foundation of the script, because this movie's been made 3 times prior, and functionally the same thing happens each time. If the specifics are different and the names are different, but it's a circle. It happens the same each time it happens, and it's just one of those movies that gets remade, and people watch it, people like it, because it's a story that is functionally timeless. It's just you have to change the setting to make it more relevant to whoever's here now. So, like, the issue she deals with in this movie of speaking her own voice rather than doing just whatever pop she will sell, and the feeling that it's kind of explained to her, his mentality of, I think his name was Jackson, Bradley Cooper's character, his thought process being that it's that music is a place for you to display your tell your story in a way that no one else can, because no one else has had that experience. He got Jackson Maine, that was his name. He tells that story, and that's what all of his music is. She gets big, and then she starts writing pop music, because that's what you do. You write music that'll sell. And I think functionally one of the problem with this is that Jackson isn't quite as isn't quite as open to this idea, because as someone who's been in the industry for a while, he should know that that's what's going to end up happening, that you can't quite jump in with this music that you can't, that everyone will love. But you have to start with that first. You can't jump in just doing the experimental stuff, otherwise you won't be able to, sell records, and who's going to listen, and this, that, the other thing. I think that one of the things I saw criticized of this movie in back when it came out was that I really gotta start taking notes and having an outline of where I'm gonna go with this, because now we just have this where I'm just kind of rambling incoherently. one of the things I criticized early on is that he's explaining it to her, and I do agree that if telling her, where it's like he's explaining to her the right way to do it, and it's not right for him to do that, and I agree that it's not right for him to try and explain to her what needs to be done for her to be famous or for her to be the best version of herself, and that's functionally not something he should be doing. And the movie doesn't portray him as in the right for doing that. It kind of portrays him as in the wrong for doing that, because it's not his place to tell her how to tell her story, which is at its core what the movie's all about. And then at the end of the movie, after Jackson does kill himself, which I think makes that whole sequence at the end of the movie with him in rehab makes the case for every Academy Award nominated actor in this movie. Sam Elliott's stoic conversation he has with Jackson, and when Jackson says, I never really looked up to Dad all those years, I was really looking up to you. That is and then as he's pulling away, he starts crying a little bit. When he's in rehab and he breaks down to Lady Gaga, who plays Allie in the movie, and he's like, I'm an embarrassment, and I should have never done that to you. And it's that's Bradley Cooper's case. The whole sequence of him preparing to and then inevitably killing himself, cooking the dog to steak, and as he's when he says bye to her one last time before she goes off to the concert, and it's just the whole thing is just driven home so well. And then the end conversation with Sam Elliott, whose character name I can't remember off the top of my head, and Lady Gaga, about who's to blame for his suicide, and how he goes, Sam Elliott goes, you can't really blame yourself. This wasn't you. You didn't cause this. This was him. The whole thing is just a very emotional third act that drives home the movie, and it's so beautifully done. I would say that it's a snub that Bradley Cooper wasn't nominated for Best Director, because he did do an excellent job. This is a large movie for a directorial debut. Between having to do the amount of just massive set pieces in this movie and the amount of things that need to be coordinated, and he does such an excellent job with it that I think he should have at least been nominated, and I think it makes a strong case for Best Debut as an Academy Award category, if they're really looking for a new category now that popular film has failed. We'll wrap it up there. I said it when it came out and when I saw it in theaters that if you haven't seen this movie, you 100% need to see this movie. And I stand by that today. If you have not seen this movie yet, and if you haven't seen... Wow, holy crap. If you haven't seen this movie yet, you 100% need to see it. It's out on DVD now. You can get it digital. You can get it rented. You can get it from a Redbox, probably. You can get this movie literally anywhere. There is no excuse for you not to watch it. And we will wrap up there for today. I'm Adam, and we'll be back tomorrow with The Favorite, Saturday with Into the Spider-Verse and The Incredibles 2, and Black Panther on Sunday. Have a good rest of your day.